All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chick, and you are through to Chick Flicks. And you've probably seen now that I decided to turn my camera off. This time, I rewatched my Lupin review, and I thought maybe I should have kept it off still. So yes, at some point I will be putting my top back on and do another one of these reviews. Definitely for episode 3 of Loki. It'll be with a top. It's hot, man. What can I say, man? I just want to feel cool. So as we'll be without a camera, so I'll do a review of the first 2 episodes of Loki. I wanted to try and do it on a weekly basis. I kept meaning to do the first episode of Loki. I just couldn't. I just I just ran out of time basically. And with the second episode dropping yesterday, I figured, you know what, Raggo, let me just do a double review of both. So hopefully you guys will appreciate it. In the meantime, please do slap a like on this video. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I greatly appreciate it if you can do that. Um, and yes, we are moving towards on the road to 350. So let's see if we can get 350 and beyond in a very short space of time. All right, let's do this. Loki. This is the video. This is the Disney Plus series, which I would suggest that everybody has been one form or another looking forward to. Because Loki is such a complex, such a different, complex, funny, intriguing character of the MCU. Once we found out that he was having his own TV show, we were like, yeah, I'm down for that. But I think most people were very excited to see what would be produced. Um, I think first and foremost, I suppose I need to break this down from the very beginning, given that it's a double episode review. So essentially, you've got to watch Endgame to understand what's happened to Loki, but they do a little spiel at the beginning to kind of explain how Loki is where he is. But essentially, he's been captured by the Time Variance Authority, who are essentially this organization that monitors time and monitors people who breach time rules. Essentially, if you've ever seen Adjustment Bureau from 2011, they are these guys. Basically, that's the best way of describing it. They are these guys. Um, and yeah, they are essentially people who are kind of monitor people who interfere time. They are people who are in the comics. So they have been written in the comics before. Um, and Owen Wilson is essentially one of their agents who deals with Loki and tries to establish some sort of rapport and relationship with him moving forward. And I think first things first, let me just say this because I can't seem to get through these without spoiling something and then people get mad. So let me just say now, spoiler alert, just in case. But I actually really enjoyed this first episode. I thought it was a really good first episode because they had an immediate challenge here with Loki. Because with Loki, we'd seen somebody who, of course, he started off as a villain in 2000. Well, started off as a villain pretty early in the Thor films. He was definitely an established villain by the Avengers film. And we got to see him on this massive arc throughout the next 5 years from obviously, with Thor Ragnarok and various other films. So we got to see that arc of his, and we got to see him almost be a character who redeemed himself towards the end, especially by the time we got to Infinity War, where he tried to do the right thing in the end, and it cost him his life. Um, and they had that immediate challenge of trying to make him a very sympathetic character very, very quickly again, because now given the events of uh, uh, or end of Endgame, we've now gone back to 2012 Loki. So what I thought that was a very interesting challenge from the get go. Now, what first things first, and I'm going to be a bit scatterbrained, so do bear with me. I thought the set was very, very nice. I liked the set. It was very, very eye-catching set. I thought the cast were very, very well made. Um, there were a lot of roles with there that I'm very curious about in terms of the way their characters play out. There's a big black woman in there. I've forgotten her name. I like her character though. She seems like a very tough, no nonsense character who I'm very eager to see how she plays out over the course of the series. But it's she has little to no love for Loki. Treats him like shit most of the time. So she has no trust for him whatsoever. Whereas Owen Wilson is probably the only one that has a modicum of faith in Loki. Doesn't trust him, but just has this gut feeling about him, which um, we can all see in Loki, of course, and he can see something in Loki. He's the only one that has really been pushing this idea that actually, why don't we get Loki working for us? The whole premise of the thing is that Loki is a variant, which is a very flash way of saying a copy or a variation of the character we know as Loki, and he broke his version of the timeline, which they've had to fix. Typically, what happens is when you do that, you get reset and eradicated. He managed to avoid being reset on the basis that he comes and works for the Time Variance company. And essentially, he's tasked to capture another variant, another Loki, which is himself. Who better to catch? You get a criminal to catch criminal. Who better to catch Loki than a Loki? So the logic certainly checks out. And yeah, for me, I'm finding it quite intriguing. Like I'm not sure. This is gonna sound like an unusual comment to make, right? I knew pretty much from episode one, halfway through episode one of The Winter Soldier, that I would like the show. That I would really like the show. Just plays the sort of stuff I like. There was nothing about the show that was surprising as such. But it was just a typical type of action TV program that I liked. With WandaVision, I liked the intrigue and I liked the mystery and I liked the idea of the show. And I knew that the more I unwrapped, the more I would like. So again, it played to a different type of aspect of my personality. Whereas with this one is kind of, it's almost holding back. Like it knows you want it. It knows you want it. But it's almost like dictating you. Like saying, okay, cool. But we're not gonna give you too much. We're just gonna give you enough. We're gonna give you bits that you can already tell. But we're not gonna give you too much. Damn it, I like it. I didn't think I would, but I like the way they're approaching this. I like how subtle they're being. First and foremost, let me say this right off the bat. I think Tom Hiddleston's a fantastic actor. I knew that anyway, but where I realized it in episode one was when he was there was a part in episode one where this character is thinking he's watching this video of basically how his life would have panned out had he not escaped using the Tesseract. And obviously, we know he would have experienced Thor Ragnarok. He would have gone on this redemptive arc. He would have eventually his life would have ended to Thanos, yes, but we know that he would have had that close relationship with his brother. In fact, there was a point in the show where he realized that something he did cost his mum's life, and that him and Owen Wilson. I've never really felt Owen Wilson's an amazing actor, but he bounces very, very well off Tom Hiddleston, and I actually think they have a really good rapport on the show. Like it kind of shows that they spend a little bit of time with each other, and they bounce off each other very, very well. And like you can tell, like they just little intricacies of the dialogue, and I think it would not surprise me if not everything was written here, or not everything was scripted. Part of me thinks that the director probably just let them go, just do your thing, make it as dramatic as possible, and I think that really came across. I thought it was a very well, very almost powerful scene. That as brief as it was, where you realize that Loki realized that shit. Every time I try and do this, like there's a point where Owen Wilson says, "You're not great." In fact, every time you try and be great, you fail, and you make others around you look good. And I'm like, "Fuck me, that's that's a real hard talking shit." But it's true, like Loki is not he's not a god per se. He's someone who, bless him, is ambitious, but every time he tries, he fails. And every time he fails, he makes others around him look good. And it was things like that kind of made him think, like, fuck me, is this really the case? Um, I love shit that makes you think about a character that you thought you knew until somebody says something like that and makes you think, yeah, it's kind of true. So I loved that. I loved little things like that. Um, so that was episode one, and by the end of it, Loki's like, "All right, what do you want me to do here?" And then so Owen Wilson sets the task. Right, we need to capture another Loki variant, but this Loki is dangerous as fuck. So Loki says, "Well, naturally, you know." So you essentially you need the god of mischief to help you with this, and Owen Wilson's like, "Yeah." So we kind of get to see the shadowy figure, but we never see Loki's face. Now, spoiler alert, we learn who this Loki is, and that is a lady Loki. Now, for those eagle-eyed people from episode one, there was an opportunity where I think Loki had some ID or something, and when he came into the contact with the Time Variance Authority, he presented it, and it showed his sex as fluid, so it wasn't male. It said fluid. So immediately I knew there was going to be maybe some sort of black or Loki or a female Loki or something. Like I knew, as soon as I saw some shit like that, I was like, oh, okay, cool. So when they didn't show Loki's face as the evil Loki, the supposed or the one they want you to believe is the evil Loki, it kind of made me think, all right, that must be the woman Loki then. So this episode was more or less about hunting this Loki down. Now, this evil Loki, is fucking shit up, killing all their people. Every time they send a team out to chase this Loki fucks that team up, kills all of them, and moves on to the next. And they, this Loki is always creating mayhem wherever they go. So obviously, our Loki has been sent to go and chase them and see if they can hunt them down. Now, Loki wouldn't be Loki if he's not doing some Loki type of shit. Hence the name Loki, I guess. So he kind of thinks to himself, all right, how can I make this situation work for me? So his whole thing was, in episode one, his whole thing was, I need to just get out of it. By episode two, of course, it's now, forget getting out of it. Maybe I can overthrow, the time variance authority, and particularly the Time Lords and the people who watch over it. watch over us. Because if they have so much power that an Infinity Stone is basically a paperweight to them, then I need to be in charge of this place. So, it kind of works out. You kind of understands, you understand his motivation and his mission. From Owen Wilson's point of view, still doesn't trust him, but he likes his renewed spirit and attitude and decides to go along with it. The black woman still does not trust him whatsoever. Neither does that hot mixed race girl. I forgot her name. There's this hot mixed race girl that seems to run the whole show. But I can't remember her name in the actual show. But anyway, so that's basically what the whole episode about. So you see them in various different establishments, and then towards the end, it basically comes to a head whereby they're in an electronics store in the year 2050, and there's this almighty fights basically between the two Lokis, although the evil Loki is possessing the body of several men fighting Loki. Until the reveal is made at the end that the Loki that our Loki is hunting is a female Loki. I hope you're with me. I know I'm saying Loki a lot. So obviously Loki's like, oh shit. And in the end, what we learn is that she's set off all these bombs that are going to go off inside this electronic shop, like massive bombs. By the way, one thing I should have mentioned is outside of the store, there's this huge tornado, end of world like tornado that's going on outside. And inside the store, she set off all these huge bombs. She has hostages, and she ain't rampant. She's looking to kill people. Like that's what she's looking. That they have very much told the story that she is the absolute bad person in this thing. She is not to be fucked with. I mean, even throughout the episode, our Loki is like trying to negotiate with her to like, be easy. We can work together. You can be my lieutenant. Shit like that. And she's cold about it. She's ruthless. You could tell like she is the superior Loki. So yeah, it was the whole thing was very, 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 very intriguing. And in the end, she goes through this portal, and Owen Wilson and our Loki get split up halfway through this search in this record store. But towards the end, he sees Loki, the evil Loki, go through the portal, and he's running towards our Loki like, Loki, don't do it, stop, don't do it, stop. And then our Loki thinks, fuck it, walks through the portal. And then that was the end of the episode. So we now know that our two Lokis are at least, well, they're not together, they're not working together, but they're at least together in the same location, you would assume. And he's away from at least temporarily, away from the Time Variance Authority with his powers. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens next week. One thing I should have mentioned from the first episode, supposedly Loki was DB Cooper. If you need to know who DB Cooper is, Google it. One of the most biggest heists that happened in America that nobody understands what happened. That was really weird the way they worked that in. But yeah, all in all, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the first two episodes. It was good, very, very good. And it's the sort of show where I think if you watch it a couple of times, you'll miss little details. So I'll advise you, if you watched it yesterday, leave it a couple of days, go back on Sunday, rewatch it. Guarantee you'll pick something up that you didn't pick up the first time. So yeah, but anyway, that's it for me for now. You guys let me know what you think. what you thought. Have you watched the show? Comment below. And if you haven't watched it yet, I'm sorry I spoiled it for you. But do go check it out. Come back and comment on the video. If you like this video, I will be doing this weekly, so it won't be a double episode moving forward in future. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me for now. But until next time, guys, take care. I hope you enjoyed this. And I'm out. Peace.